FNCS is back, but with another confusing format. So let me go through exactly how you can qualify to the FNCS and what you need to do to actually play. Now, a lot of things happened yesterday when Epic released the new blog post, and a lot of different things are changing, mainly due to FNCS, and also they've added a new region. NA West is coming back, and it is going to be a region alongside NA Central for the next year of Fortnite competitive. Now, a lot of people are questioning the decision because why the hell is NA West coming back but not NA East, for example, considering how many people are actually playing NA East in terms of population and how many people that used to be playing NA West as well. Now, this can probably be answered by just reading between the lines here and reading through the actual messaging that they put in the actual blog post. So it says, beginning with the launch of Chapter 6, North America Tournament Region will return in a 2-region split in order to offer improved scheduling and flexibility for all tournaments, aka the timing is really bad for some people around the country, therefore they need to have 2 separate regions. The 2 regions coming for the coming year will be North America West and North America Central. We'll continue to evaluate server locations and may make additional changes in the future. Now, knowing Epic Games and knowing what may means and changes, that probably seems like NA East might also be coming in the future potentially as well, because if you're thinking logically about it, why the hell would NA West come back and not NA East? So potentially in the upcoming year, or maybe next year, we might have NA West, NA Central, and NA East, or they're just doing a test on NA West to see if it's worthwhile to add another server, to see if it's worthwhile to add another region, to see, for example, whether or not there's enough players to justify it, and also if the scheduling is good enough to do it as well. Now, obviously, NA West coming back is a smaller region. If they brought back NA East, they'd have to pump in a lot of prize pool. But for NA West, it's a lot smaller. So it's a smaller, less expensive test than bringing back NA East as well. And it would be interesting if they brought back 3 North American regions, especially considering pricing, but that remains to be seen. Now, one of my main concerns, obviously, with NA West coming back is probably the cheater situation. Since Central was brought back together, a lot of people playing high ping have decided, you know what, I'm not even going to try playing Fortnite anymore. I'm just going to start cheating. So NA West might be absolutely infested with a bunch of cheaters. That region might not even be playable anymore because a lot of people have actually just given up in competitive Fortnite in that season. I hope I'm wrong, but of course they do have qualification spots to global championships as well, so that is slightly concerning. Now, going towards the most important part of this blog post, it is how to qualify for an FNCS major. Essentially, Elite Cups are back. Now, they have a new name and they're now called Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3, which they may have stolen from my Scrim system, but it is the best system we have ever seen in Fortnite in order to qualify for an FNCS. So it all starts in the first tournament of the season. Basically, path number 1 towards an FNCS Grand Finals is the Placement Cup. Now, this is going to be on December 7th, and that is the only Placement Cup that we will have the entire season. Now, this is going to happen every single season. There's going to be one Placement Cup, and this Placement Cup is going to determine where you place in the divisions. If you play super well in the Placement Cup, you will get Division 1. If you place a little bit worse, you get Division 2, and you place anywhere from last place to whatever threshold they decide, you'll be placed into Division 3. Now, this is a 1-day tournament, and then your top placement will determine where you end up placing. And from there, we are going into the Divisional Cups. Now, this is exactly the same as Elite Cups. All the people that have been placed from the Placement Cup into Division 1 will end up playing for tournaments that are pro pricing, so therefore they are basically Elite Cup formats. What it used to be a 2-day format, and then the points got added up together, and the people that placed in the top 50, in duos of course, but now trios, top 33, end up playing a set lobby finals for money, exactly like the old Elite Cups. That's probably what's going to happen. So these divisional weekly tournaments are probably going to end up replacing the trio cash cups that we know and love. But don't worry, if you did badly in the Placement Cup and you're not in Division 1, you can still play a tournament in those weeks. You have your own divisional cup as well. If you're in Division 2, you'd probably play the same thing. You'll probably play 2 days of tournaments, and then your placement will determine whether you advance into Division 1 or you stay in Division 2. You cannot demote, as far as I know, because that's how it used to be as well. I do low-key hope you can demote, because it's kind of interesting to go up and down in terms of the placements, but if it's the same way that they did before, you cannot demote out of Division 2 into Division 3. Again, If you did super badly in the Placement Cup and you go into Division 3, well, you can always still advance into Division 1 by playing the weekly Division 3 weekly cups 2-day format yet again. Top placing players go into Division 2, and then you can play into the Division 2 tournaments after that when you are in Division 2. Now, why are the divisions so important? Well, now we have a newly set up system for FNCS semifinals. Now, the way that you want to look at this is that FNCS starts December 7th. Your path to the FNCS Grand Finals is in December 7th. That's where you start. The divisional cups are also part of the FNCS. You have to think about it that way, because I know a lot of people reacted to this news thinking, hey, it's going to be super hard to play the FNCS now. I'm never going to make it into the play-in stages, but you have to think as the divisional cups as qualifiers to the FNCS, basically trying to make it into Division 1. Now, Division 1 players, that's where you need to reach in order to play the FNCS semifinals, or the new format that they have created. It is called the play-in stage. Now, the play-in stage is a 2-day tournament with 10 games each on every single day, where every single person in Division 1 will be put into a pool of lobbies, and then you queue up just like a Trio Cash Cup. Now, this is probably akin to like a round 3 of an FNCS in terms of player quality, or maybe the old Trio Cash Cup format for finals, where it was top 198. I'm not sure how many people will end up being in Division 1. There is 5 weeks of qualifiers. There's 5 weeks of divisional cup, so if I had to guess, the number would probably be around 500 to 700 trios in total. So it'll be a stacked lobby. And in order for you to advance to the next round of the FNCS, you need to place top 99 in EU and NA Central, and then I believe it's top 66 in all the other regions. So all of those players that play the divisional cups, the Placement Cup, if you did one Placement Cup, you're already in Division 1, you're already qualified to the play-in stage. But if you're in Division 2 or Division 3, you have to play the weekly cups to go back into Division 1, and you don't drop out of it. And then once you finally make it, you can play the play-in stage, where you have to place top 99 to get to the next round. From there, the 99 top trios will be put into the group stage. Now, this is akin to the old heat system. Basically, it's FNCS heats. Like I just said, 33 trios get put into 3 different groups. Now, the seeding, aka how you determine who gets into one group, depends on your placement on the leaderboard. So, for example, if you go first in the play-in stages, then you go into group 1. If you go second, you go into group 2. If you go third, you go into group 3. If you get fourth, you go into group 3. Fifth, you go into group 2 until all the groups are filled. So basically 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this is obviously a slightly problematic system, because you're not actually getting seeded by your placement, right? If you win opens, you might just get put into the best lobby possible just based off of RNG. So this is going to be super difficult, I think, for a lot of pros to actually make it into the FNCS Grand Finals, because your heats lobby or your groups lobby is going to be so important, because this is now your only chance to make it into the FNCS Grand Finals. Now, what does the group stages entails? Once we've been seeded from the play-in stage, the top 99, into the group stages, each one of those groups will be playing 5 games in total. Every single game winner will advance straight into the FNCS Grand Finals, and the top 5 players, so the top 5 teams in consistency, will make it through into the FNCS Grand Finals. So each group stage group of 33 teams, 10 teams will go out and get into the FNCS Grand Finals. Now, the reason why that's so difficult now for a lot of professional players, and maybe the even average player, is because if you're in the wrong lobby and you get into a lobby with perhaps another pro team that cons your spot, or a really difficult lobby where it's hard to win a game or hard to get top 5, well, then your FNCS is essentially over at that point, because in order to make it to the FNCS Grand Finals after the group stages, you'll have to go through another last chance qualifier, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So we have 10 teams from each group. That's 30 teams in total that will make it through, 15 game winners and 15 players in terms of consistency. Now, don't worry if you didn't make it to the play-in stage, or you didn't make it into Division 1, you can still have one last chance to make it into the FNCS Grand Finals through the last chance qualifier. Now, this means that everyone from Division 1 to Division 2 to Division 3 can make it into the FNCS Grand Finals just by playing this last tournament. It is basically a big opens tournament with Div 1, Div 2, and Div 3 players, where I believe the way that it's sounding is that the top 33 players will advance to the FNCS last chance qualifiers finals lobby, and then in those finals lobbies they will play 3 games in total, where each game winner will make it into the FNCS Grand Finals. So essentially, if you dud out of the group stages as a good team, then you have to place top 33 out of everyone from Division 1, 2, and 3, just like your Trio Cash Cup. And then you have to win a game in the Trio Cash Cup final, essentially, as well. So, like I said, this is a brutal system in order to make it through to the FNCS Grand Finals. Before, we had upper bracket, lower bracket, upper bracket. You had basically 3 or 4 different chances to make it into Grands. This is going to be tough. We're going to see a lot of teams drop out and not make FNCS Grand Finals if they just get put into the wrong lobby. Which, from a viewer perspective and someone that watches this game, is really exciting. This seems like a super fun format to watch and enjoy. Obviously, the weekly tournaments are going to be exciting, so people can play against people at the same skill level. They absolutely cooked on this format. Now, as usual, the FNCS Grand Finals is 12 games in total, 6 games per day, the exact same, and you got the new pickaxe, which is a little bit trash, but that's whatever. But the overall format is as... But the overall format, from what I just mentioned, seems to be pretty good. So the new format is really competitive. It also stops a lot of things like cheaters going through, because you have those stages between Division 1, 2, 3, so you can stop them and ban them before they get to Division 1, so they can't play those future tournaments as well, so they have to go back into it if they're cheating. So it's a really good format for the entirety and the health of the game. Now, one of the other things mentioned were the global championship spots. Now, of course, we have 7 different regions, including NA West, and as you can see, EU gets 11 trios, 2 globals, NA Central gets 7, NA West gets 3, and then Brazil, Asia, Middle East, and OCE also get 3. So NA West is akin to those regions, so you can probably divulge how much pricing they're going to get. Probably not that much compared to NA Central, but it is interesting that 11 EU trios go to globals and only 10 from NA Central. So basically the same amount of spots, but more interesting enough, the other regions, all the smaller regions, all get equal spots to the global championships, which is interesting considering how little of them did that well in global championships, but they made it super fair for those regions. Now, all of the dates and everything combined are in this blog post. Again, I'm not going to go through every single one of them. You can go and look at it in the description below, but if you're curious about it, the winter break and the summer break starts on December 23rd for the winter break until January 5th. That's when Epic is taking the holiday. There'll be no tournaments during that time, and then obviously the summer break is from June 30th to July 13th, so that's a bit of a longer summer break holiday, but that, again, no tournaments will be running in that time as well. Now, in terms of other smaller things that are quite important, you can play multiple regions of the divisional cups. So if you choose to play divisional, so let's say you're in Division 1 of EU as a pro player, you can play your Division 1 cups for money. You can also qualify into Division 1 for NA Central and play the divisional cups. But the things that you're not allowed to do is play the playoff stages. So you can't play that big Division 1 tournament to qualify into the top 99. If you play that one, then you're region locked to your region. So don't play NA by accident over EU, or don't try to queue up a different region, but you can still play those divisional cups according to the actual blog posts. In terms of how many teams can qualify through each round, we don't know that information yet, but it's likely to be something like top 99 into the Division 1 from the Placement Cup, and then slightly worse for Division 2 and Division 3. But don't worry, your FNCS isn't over. It's not harder for you to qualify and play the FNCS. You're essentially playing the FNCS. I want to hammer this down because I had a lot of questions about this in my chat. Is you are playing the FNCS in the Division Cups. They should have actually changed the names of Division Cups and not called it Division Cups, just called it FNCS or Road to FNCS Cups or something like that, because you are playing the FNCS because you're trying to make it to Division 1. That is your end goal. So hopefully that's a little bit clearer for the people that don't understand the actual format. If you have any questions about it or any concerns or any sort of feedback on it, you can put it in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm live every single day watching tournaments, so you can ask me when I'm live, twitch.tv/CoachBoop. Have yourself a good rest of the day, and goodbye.